Hi students, this is Mrs. Nice. So I'm going to walk you through how to set up and format your companion book document. So first, start by opening up a new document and just title this one Print so that we know we need to print it. And then this first page is going to be your dedication page. So if you haven't looked at the dedication directions yet, please access them on the companion book directions page. I'm just going to write out a quick dedication. Remember, it needs to be centered, and we'll just do a basic one. This is dedicated to my mom. Great. After your dedication, you're going to want to go to the next page to set up your table of contents. Remember, it's really important to get to the next page that you not just press enter to get to the next page, but that you're actually doing page breaks. So I'm just going to go right below, press enter once, and I'll put in a page break from there. And to do a page break on a Chromebook, you do Control Enter. If you're on a Mac, I think it's Command Enter. And then on the next page, I'm going to go ahead and just title it Table of Contents. And you can go ahead and change the font size and font type to whatever you've been using for your other companion book chapters. Then you're going to press enter twice and go ahead and insert a table, and it needs to be 2 by 9. And on this, we're going to put in our headings for the table. So right here, I'll type chapter, and right here, I'll type page. I want both of these to be underlined, so I'll just highlight the whole thing and click the underline button. And then I'll go ahead and start putting in my chapters in the order that I want them. Now, everybody has to have their introduction chapter first and their conclusion chapter last. I have seen some students, when they go to put in their other chapters, you could do it in any order, but I've noticed that a lot of students tend to like to do their summary next and then their cover description, and then put them in any order. The other chapters you need to make sure that you include are your theme chapter. You need to make sure that you include your creative or research chapter. You need to make sure that you include your fan fiction chapter, and you need to make sure that you include your analytical chapter as well. Now, when you put these in, you actually want to put in the titles, and then the description will be next to it. So for example, if your summary chapter, if you actually titled that "In Case You Forgot," that should be your title, and then put summary in parentheses. So that's what I know what it is. If you had really titled your theme chapter something like "Good Guys Win," put then theme in parentheses so that I know that that's your theme chapter. Okay. So you get to choose the order. The only requirement, though, is that your introduction chapter is first and your conclusion chapter is last. Do notice that we have not included the about the author for yourself in this. You're going to print your about the author separately since we're not going to have that numbered, and I'll show you that in a minute. So everything else goes into this except your about the author. The next thing I want to show you on the table of contents is I want you to put your cursor over the center line and drag this column to the right, like that. And then we're going to go ahead and put in our page numbers. So to put in our page numbers, we're going to go down to the footer. So go to the bottom of the page and double click. And we're going to put in our page numbers, and we know we're in the footer because it says footer and we have the options over here. For our page numbers, let's center it and then go to options, page numbers. And then this is all set up correctly. We're going to put them in the footer. We're going to show on the first page, and we're going to start at number 1. So go ahead and apply it. And this is going to auto number. And you might be like, why does it say number 2? Well, because remember, our table of contents is our second page. If we scroll up to our dedication, that's auto numbered number 1. And as we put our chapters into this document, it will number them correctly for us. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding in all of my chapters. So again, remember you need to use page breaks. So I'm not going to press enter to get to the next page. I'm going to do a page break. So I'll go to under the table I put in, and then I'll do control enter. I'm on the next page. And now I'm going to put in my first chapter, which is the introduction. So I'm going to go grab, thank you to the student for letting me use her work, their introduction page. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste it. Now, to copy and paste, to highlight everything in this document, go ahead and hit Control A, and that will highlight everything. And then hit Control C to copy everything. Go back to your document, go to the page that you've set up, that you've inserted for this chapter, and hit Control V, and that will paste it in. Once that chapter is pasted in, I'm going to do a page break. So Control Enter, and then I'm going to put in my next chapter, which is supposed to be my summary chapter. So I'll go over, I will grab my summary. Again, Control A to highlight everything, Control C to copy it, and then go back to your document, go to the page that you've set up, and go ahead and do Control V and paste that chapter in. If you ever get to this situation where it automatically goes on to the next page, go ahead and delete that page. You are going to just backspace up, and then you actually want to make the new page with the page break. So Control Enter, and I'll go and put in my next chapter, which according to my table of contents is going to be the cover description. So again, I just go over, I find my cover description, I click onto the page, I do Control A to highlight everything, Control C to copy, I go to my document, go to the next available page that I have set up, and then Control V. Okay, I would pause this video, go ahead and put in all of your chapters, and then unpause, and I'll show you how to finish your table of contents. Okay, welcome back. To finish the table of contents, you're going to go ahead and put in your page numbers. So I could see that my introduction is on page 3. My summary is on page 4. My cover description is on page 5. It's up to you. If you ever have a chapter that's more than one page, you could say page 5 to 6, or you could just say page 5 and then your next chapter starts on page 7. It's totally up to you and whatever your preference is. So go ahead and put in all of your page numbers, please. Once you've done that, you're going to want to go ahead and either do dots, so periods all the way over to where the numbers go, just like this. Or if you don't want to do periods, you could also do dashes like this. Some students like dashes better. Either one's fine. Just choose a consistent style and go ahead and add all of those in. Once you have either all dots or dashes in, we're going to go ahead and finish up your table of contents by making it invisible. So I wouldn't make it invisible until you finish filling out your table of contents, but for this step, I'm just going to show it to you. So to make it invisible, you're going to highlight the whole table. Now be careful that you don't highlight anything below the table like this, otherwise it won't work. It's just the table you're highlighting. And then if it doesn't show already up here, you might need to click the dot, dot, dot for the more options. Some of you, depending on your computer view, will already have this though. What you're looking for is the border color button, which is the pen with a line underneath it. And if you hover over it, it says border color. And I'm just going to turn the border color to white. And ta-da, it makes the table disappear. Okay, so of course I wouldn't do that until you're done with your table because otherwise it gets a little bit confusing to finish your table if you haven't filled it out all the way and then it goes invisible. It's just harder to see. So once you've done this, You can go ahead and you have all of your chapters in. I would just go through and double check that everything is spaced correctly, that all of your chapters start at the top of the page, that it's spaced correctly, that you've put in the page numbers correctly. When you get to the putting in your creative research chapter, if you have a hard copy of that, like you did drawings, let's pretend my creative research chapter is going to be next. So I'm going to put in a page break. If it's typed, like if it's a research paper, obviously just copy and paste it in. If it's not, if you drew like a map or a glossary, still put placeholders for it wherever it's supposed to go. Just title it like creative. And if your creative chapter is 2 pages, leave 2 pages for it. Or 3 pages or 4 pages, however many pages you have that are a hard copy, leave that number of pages so that we're saving space and numbering everything correctly. That's it. We went over all of this in class, so hopefully you just needed a review. But this is how you format your companion book. Again, the only thing that's not in your actual print document is your about the author, about yourself. So you're going to print that separately, and then you're going to print this document separately, and it has all of your chapters in it. There is one thing we haven't done yet, the teaser and reviews. We'll do that later, so don't worry about needing to have that printed yet or even needing to have that done yet. Hopefully this helped you with formatting your companion book. Good luck.